you're looking up at a perfect cloudless blue sky on a summer morning. High above, a jetliner glides silently, a tiny silver cross stitching. A single, brilliant white thread across the canvas of the sky, but the thread doesn't disappear. It holds slowly widening into a hazy, unnatural band. It joins other, older lines, forming a lazy, crisscrossing grid. The perfect blue is now scarred, and you have to ask, what if that isn't just water vapor? That single question is the heart of the chemtrail theory, the belief that the persistent, grid-like trails in the sky aren't harmless condensation, but a toxic chemical cocktail deliberately sprayed by a secret government program.
Okay, hold on. A secret program to do what? Ruin picnics? Give everybody a bad hair day? What's the evil goal here?
The goals have shifted over the years, but the theory itself first emerged in 1996, starting with worried posts on early internet forums. It gained real traction after a research paper titled "Weather as a Force Multiplier: Owning the Weather in 2025" was published by the US Air Force.
A research paper from the Air Force. I can see why that would raise some eyebrows.
For believers, it was more than that. This paper was a smoking gun, proof that the military was not just researching, but actively planning to weaponize the weather. In their eyes, the chemtrail was born. To understand the conspiracy, you first have to understand the actual science of contrails. They're basically man-made clouds, just ice crystals, formed when hot, humid air from a jet engine freezes instantly in the cold, low-pressure atmosphere at high altitude.
So it's the same as seeing your breath on a cold day, just at 30,000 feet and a lot faster.
See? Already lost! You said hot, humid air, and freezes in the same sentence. My brain just filed a bug report.
It's all about the conditions. Scientists are clear that a contrail's persistence is 100% dependent on the humidity up there. If the upper atmosphere is dry, the ice crystals turn back into vapor and the trail vanishes. If it's humid, the crystals stick around, sometimes for hours, spreading out into those big, hazy cirrus clouds.
Okay, so the official explanation for why some trails linger and others don't is just the weather.
Precisely. And the US Air Force tried to explain this back in 1996, publishing a fact sheet called Contrail Facts. But for believers, this wasn't clarification. It was the first official act of a cover-up.
Contrail facts? That sounds like a pamphlet you'd get at the world's most boring theme park. It's not exactly a PR masterstroke.
And for the theorists, the timing was the real problem. That Contrail Facts denial was released the exact same year as the Owning the Weather paper we just mentioned. So from their perspective, one government document was proposing weather control as a strategic goal, while another was telling everyone not to worry about the weird clouds.
Yikes. That's like getting an email from HR about rumors of layoffs on the same day they install a guillotine in the break room.
And that's where the chem part of chemtrails comes from. The theory alleges these trails are filled with harmful agents, from toxic heavy metals like barium and aluminum to biological agents, or even psychoactive drugs.
All designed for what exactly? What's the endgame for spraying the population?
It varies. The three most common theories are weather modification, population control, or even mass mind control. Okay, so if you're building the strongest possible case for chemtrails, the argument really rests on three pillars: that Owning the Weather 2025 document, physical evidence collected by citizen scientists, and photographic proof from inside the planes themselves.
Let's knock down that first pillar right away. The Owning the Weather paper. Everyone cites it, but almost no one mentions it was a theoretical research paper written by students at the Air University.
Wait, students? So this whole thing is based on what is essentially a college term paper. I wrote a paper in college on the economics of the Death Star. That doesn't mean the Pentagon is building one.
It's a thought experiment, not a policy document. The Air Force publishes thousands of them. It's not a secret operational plan.
The second pillar is the physical evidence. Believers present soil and water samples, often with what they claim are elevated levels of aluminum and barium collected after periods of heavy spraying. They also document spikes in local illnesses and respiratory problems.
Citizen scientists. That sounds so much better than goose mad at planes.
And those samples are another major issue. Scientists who've reviewed them point out the lack of scientific rigor. There are no control groups, and the reported levels of chemicals often fall within normal background ranges, or can be attributed to nearby industrial pollution or even just natural dust.
Which brings us to the third pillar, the photos. This is the stuff you see go viral all the time. Pictures taken inside commercial-looking jets that show rows of mysterious large barrels connected by a web of complex piping.
Believers claim these are the chemical storage tanks and dispersal systems. The smoking gun caught on camera.
Okay, but you can't deny those pictures look suspicious. It looks like the world's worst brewery tour.
Except aeronautics experts consistently identify them as flight test ballast barrels. They aren't filled with chemicals. They're filled with water.
They pump the water back and forth between the barrels to simulate different passenger and cargo weight distributions. It's how they certify a new plane is safe to fly. The complex piping is just plumbing.
So, the big secret is airplane safety testing. That's the most boring conspiracy I've ever heard. It's like finding out the Illuminatus master plan is to optimize municipal tax collection.
The scientific consensus is just as boring, I'm afraid. A 2016 survey asked 77 of the world's leading atmospheric scientists if they'd ever seen evidence of a secret, large-scale spraying program.
The result? 76 out of 77, that's 98.7%, said no. They concluded the evidence cited by the chemtrail theory could be explained by well-understood physics and chemistry.
I'm just stuck on the one guy. Therese, one atmospheric scientist out there who's like, nope, could be aliens. You just know has the life of the party at their conferences.
The final pillar that crumbles is the motive. The proposed goals are all over the place. Is it for weather control? Mass sterilization? Mind control? Blocking the sun?
And that's the core logical failure. For a conspiracy this vast to work, it needs a single ruthlessly enforced objective. You can't have one team trying to cause droughts while another is trying to cause rain. The logistics are self-defeating. Okay, let's break this down. What's actually real here? Because there is a kernel of truth. Governments absolutely do engage in weather modification. It's called cloud seeding, and it's been a public practice since the 1940s.
Exactly. They spray particles, usually silver iodide, into clouds to act as a nucleus for raindrops or snowflakes to form around. The goal is typically to try and induce rain over a drought-stricken area. It's small scale and its effectiveness is still heavily debated.
So, weather modification is real. It's just not very good and they tell you when they're doing it. Got it.
What's also real is the science of geoengineering. And this is where the lines get blurry for a lot of people. Scientists are actively discussing something called solar radiation management, or SRM.
This is a real, though very controversial, proposal to combat global warming. The idea is to spray reflective aerosols, like sulfur dioxide, into the high stratosphere to create a thin veil that reflects a tiny percentage of sunlight back into space, cooling the planet.
And that's the real crux of it. The chemtrail theory takes two completely separate, real things, small-scale public cloud seeding and theoretical, future geoengineering, and mashes them together into one massive secret, ongoing program that just isn't happening.
So it's like someone heard about Lipitor and experimental gene therapy and concluded that everyone's secretly getting their cholesterol lowered by lizard people.
It's a category error. So let's be clear about the speculation. The science confirms that atmospheric conditions, temperature, wind, and especially humidity, are all you need to explain why some trails linger and spread out. Therese, no need for a secret chemical additive.
And the biggest leap of faith is the motive. The idea that a global conspiracy could be maintained for decades involving hundreds of thousands of pilots, maintenance crews, and scientists for a goal as vague as population control is statistically near impossible.
You can't even get 3 people to keep a secret, let alone the entire airline industry. Someone would have talked. Someone would have sold their story for a Netflix deal by now.
So if the evidence isn't there, why do people believe it so strongly? Because the chemtrail theory provides a simple, visible explanation for complex, invisible fears. Worried about pollution, weird illnesses, or climate change. It's much easier to blame a secret cabal spraying things from planes than to confront messy, Systemic problems with no easy answers.
It's the ultimate "it's not my fault" card. My allergies aren't bad because of pollen. The government is gassing me.
It's also a textbook example of pattern recognition gone wrong. The human brain is fundamentally wired to see patterns, and when we see grids in the sky, we instinctively assume intent, purpose.
We're pattern seekers, but sometimes a grid is just a coincidence of FAA, mandated flight paths, and a humid afternoon.
And the internet was the jet fuel for this theory. Before, a local oddity would stay local.
Right. It was just one guy in your town yelling at clouds. Now has got a global Zoom meeting with all the other cloud yellers.
It created a global echo chamber that felt like proof. Photos of supposed chemtrails from Texas could be shared with believers in Germany in an instant, making it feel like a coordinated worldwide event.
And the theory gets another boost of legitimacy every time real science discusses geoengineering. When scientists at Harvard propose SRM research, it's seen as a partial admission.
It blurs the line between a real future proposal and a secret present reality.
It's like if you found a folder on a NASA computer labeled Project Death Star 2050. You're not going to believe them when they say, "Oh, that's just a thought experiment."
Ultimately, the appeal is the feeling of being in the know. You feel you've uncovered a truth hidden from the sheeple. It's a powerful psychological reward.
And that makes the belief very difficult to dislodge with mere facts. It's not about the evidence anymore. It's about identity.
So, are they spraying us? The verdict is clear. While cloud seeding is real and geoengineering is a serious topic for future debate, the chemtrails you see online are just ice crystals hanging in humid air.
The real conspiracy is the one that convinces us to distrust our own eyes and the science that explains what we're seeing.
Next week, we're going after something even more iconic than the sky itself. We're looking at the most watched television event in history and asking, was the whole thing shot in a Hollywood studio? Don't miss our episode on the moon landing hoax.
If you want more deep dives into the things that make you look up and ask questions, hit subscribe and ring that bell. We're here every week trying to figure out what's real and what's just a lot of hot air.